Hello and welcome to the Draft Chronicles preview for the weekend's game here going into the Premier League season. Week 1 we got our first matchup coming up in the form of Man United versus Leicester City. Now, for this matchup, I don't really see Leicester getting anything out of this game. Let's face it, without Riyad Mahrez creating chances, Vardy won't really be scoring goals, but hey, I could be wrong. Man United, on the other hand, it seems that they're creating their own trouble. As a squad, they're not bad at all. Let's face it, they finished second with perhaps a points total that could have won a league any other season. Now going into that game, I'm not sure if perhaps Romelu Lukaku will be starting. Perhaps Paul Pogba might be trying to organize his way out of there, heading to Barcelona. But United have too much quality in their squad to not get a result out of this game. I see Man United winning perhaps 2-0. Now going into the weekend's game on Saturday, we got Newcastle up against Tottenham here. And Tottenham, as a squad, seems that this day and age, if you don't sign anybody, you automatically become worse than you were last season. And Tottenham as a first team 11 are not bad at all, good enough to finish in the top 4. Now Newcastle, on the other hand, Rafa Benitez, who is, I believe, a fantastic manager, has really been given a short hand here. He doesn't have the quality players that he wants or needs to make Newcastle perhaps become a solid top 10 team. And they're going to be really scrapping for chances. Now, Newcastle have signed the likes of Salman Rondon on loan with a switch, sending Dwight Gale down to the Championship. But unfortunately, they don't really have that quality and depth. Now, let's remember last season where Tottenham surprisingly struggled, but I can't see them not getting points here. I say a surprise 1-1 draw. Now, going into the next couple of matches here, we have Huddersfield up against Chelsea, and Huddersfield, what I deem perhaps the luckiest escape since the likes of West Brom way back in the day. Barely survived, and we're lucky to be in the Premier League here this season. Chelsea, I think, even with the likes of Jorginho signing on, but losing their number 1 goalkeeper, and I can never really say this guy's name, I think it's Courtois. I think Eden Hazard and the like will perhaps still be good enough to get results in the league, but not unfortunately challenge for major honors. But Chelsea will probably get a result in this game, winning, I'd say, 2-1. Now Bournemouth against New Boys Cardiff City, who are finally wearing blue in the Premier League, are going to be looking to see who perhaps will be the bottom dwellers, and I don't see anybody other than Cardiff City really struggling this season. Bournemouth have a quality manager and quality players. Surprisingly, the core unit of the team that got them promoted is there and doing well. I see Bournemouth winning easily. Let's say 3-0. Now Watford come up against Brighton, and I mean, let's face it, little Obama over there is doing a great job. Chris Hughton has managed to make them a solid defensive team, but unfortunately, trying to rely on Glenn Murray to score goals is not really going to be good enough. And I think those new players that they've brought in, and hopefully, I believe the gentleman's name is Cardia, a new striker that they had last season that didn't really get any much of the goals. I think hopefully we'll get a result for them. But Watford, a model UN over there with international players left and right, and the likes of the legend himself, Troy Deeney, up top. They'll be good enough, comfortably mid-table. I say Watford get a result here, 2-0. Now, coming up from the Championship here, and perhaps one of the most, let's say, neutral teams, I can't really see anybody ever hating Fulham. They're up against Crystal Palace, and Palace, without Wilfried Zaha, I don't think can really get much done. I mean, yes, they have other quality players, and I think perhaps a secret left back that nobody's realizing is quite decent in the form of Van Aanholt. They'll potentially get a result here, but Fulham could be a surprise package here this season, signing Mitrovic, the likes of Sessegnon, and Andre Schürrle. Let's say this match ends in an exciting 2-2. Now, next up here, in the last game for Saturday, we have Wolves up against Everton. Now, Wolves can honestly be any Portuguese side. You could be mistaking them for FC Porto, Lisbon, who knows. But looking at the team sheet, Secret Agent Mendes has really strengthened them, and they look like nothing they used to be. They're up against Everton, who have surprisingly spent a lot this summer, but usually spending a lot by Everton's method hasn't really produced great results for them. Now, they do have a quality manager, but unfortunately, I don't think they have a quality gel team and are just spending for the sake of spending, trying to attract big top quality players, and I think it's going to backfire them on this season. I think Wolves will be the surprise package here in the weekend, winning 2-0 up against Everton. Perhaps that will make Everton realize you can't spend your way out of trouble. Now going into the Sunday matches here, we got Southampton up against Burnley. And I think Burnley have perhaps been the surprise package from last season. That's going to continue to be the surprise package going into the new season. Southampton, I think, are going to really struggle. Mark Hughes was lucky enough to have three other teams worse than him when he took over at Southampton. And I don't think they truly have that quality and squad depth that they used to. I think Liverpool practically sucked that team dry for their talent, and with the remaining players in the form of Charlie Austin, who I think if he stays fit could score some crucial goals for them. Unfortunately, won't probably have the great team aspect of staying in that league. I think Burnley will get a result here. I see Burnley winning 2-0. Now, Liverpool match up against West Ham, and my goodness have these two teams spent. You got the likes of Alisson coming in, Naby Keita, Fabinho, and then for West Ham you got, I think the player's name is Anderson, and then you got Jay Will, wheelchair, and I think they signed a couple other players. I don't really know who the names are, but I mean they have a quality Premier League winning manager now in the form of Darth Sidious. No, I'm joking. It's Manuel Pellegrini. Now, I think Pellegrini can pull a surprise here up against Klopp's man. I think, if anything, this is going to be a struggle for Liverpool to try to get a result early on. But maybe it could be a surprise. Let's say it's an exciting 2-1. And let's say Liverpool can pick up the 3 points there. Now, the final game of the weekend, and perhaps the big blockbuster match straight off here, is Arsenal versus Man City. And seeing what Man City did to Chelsea in the Community Shield, I think Arsenal are going to really be worried. But secretly, Arsenal have the best strike force in the league. The likes of Aubameyang and Lacazette are going to get bundles and bundles of goals. But that's going to be the defense where they perhaps are going to be lacking. Man City is a well-oiled machine. Guardiola has them ticking in perhaps a form that the Premier League has never seen. 100 points last season is, shocking, if anything. And can they carry that into this season? Can he motivate them to become Premier League champions again? I think Arsenal will shock everybody here, and they'll get a 1-0 win. What am I talking about? They're going to be goals here. Let's say this game ends 3-2 to Arsenal. Well, that's the preview here for this week going into the Premier League. Please feel free to comment below of your thoughts coming up here for the first week, and subscribe to the Draft Chronicles.